The court may recall from reviewing this file that we had several hearings in which I actually made phone calls to Mr. Pickering during the hearings. His voicemail said, "This is Tyler or Tyler Pickering." I left a message. That had happened a couple of times. Prior to that time, he and I had spoken about this case. He had questions about his parentage with respect to whether he was the father, but I think they're presenting evidence to that effect today. So initially he was involved in the case and then disappeared. So I've not had contact with him. We had spoken a couple of times on the phone. I believe the court had to arrange for alternate service in this case and may have accomplished that. But I have not had contact with him in a notable period of time to appear.
Looks like we did a writ to the Wexford County Jail. Mr. Sommerfeld, are you aware of that or the outcome of that?
I am not, Judge.
Nor am I.
Did the court, did it do publication? I know that this was adjourned last time for bench trial because of lack of personal service.
The court did publication of hearing. There's a document within the court file. Says to Tyler Pickering in the matter of Lydia Alexander. Hearing regarding a jurisdictional bench trial will be conducted by the court on 9/26/25 at 1:30 in the District Court Room 101, 800 Livingston Boulevard before Honorable Kevin Hesselink. Therefore ordered that Tyler Pickering personally appear. This may result in the termination of parental rights, and it was published on September 12th, 2025. It does appear that we did. That was in the
Do we need 3 weeks, Judge?
Charlevoix Courier Legal. And we'll get a copy of that publication document that went out on September the 12th. Today is the 26th. That's 14 days. So it doesn't look like it was also done on, so September the 12th looks like it was published twice, because it was also published on Friday, September the 5th, which would give us 21 days today. So we do have three weeks as to that.
Thank you, Judge.
Let me also indicate for the record that my recollection is that Tyler Pickering has called my office. So he has my telephone number. That machine's on 24/7. And I haven't had a message from him in at least a couple of months, as I recall.
All right.
So he is aware of how to get a hold of me.
Thank you. It does appear that Mr. Pickering had proper notice. It does appear that Mr. Delaney has done his due diligence in trying to make contact with him and get him to appear today. It does appear that notice was given by publication, which was done according to the court rules, and in a newspaper, which would have been in the Charlevoix. Let's see what it said. Charlevoix Courier, which is a publication in the area where his last known address is. Charlevoix Courier, paper printed and published in the county of Charlevoix, 9/5/2025, according to the affidavit of publication. All right. Having noted all that on the record, Mr. Sommerfeld, how is it that you wish to proceed today?
Judge, I'd like to proceed in his absence with the perfection of publication. I have one witness and I have one exhibit. It's petitioner's exhibit A. This is a default judgment affiliation for Tyler Pickering as to Lydia Rose Alexander. It's self-authenticating.
If you'd show that to Mr. Delaney.
I have
He
shown.
did. I viewed it as a public record. It would be admissible.
It was attached to our petition, so all parties should have knowledge. I just have a separate copy here since we're here, Judge, and I am tendering this to the court with the court's permission.
All right. Petitioner's exhibit 1, being default judgment affiliation, Mr. Sommerfeld just spoke about, will be admitted.
I did entitle it, I put the letter A.
Yep, I'm sorry.
I never know.
Petitioner's exhibit A You're right, I see that now. So petitioner's exhibit A stands admitted. Mr. Solis, is that who you're going to call, Mr. Summerfeld?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Solis, if you come forward, please.
Joaquin Solis.
You would raise your right hand, sir, so I can swear you in. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please have a seat. State your full name for the record, please.
Joaquin Solis, Solis.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Summerfeld.
Thank you. Mr. Solis, how do you, what,
I'm a foster care worker for Otsego County DHHS.
all right, do you know Lydia Rose Alexander?
I do. She's a foster kiddo on my caseload.
Okay, about how old is she right now?
She's 5.
She's 5 years old. And how did she come into care, to the attention of the Department of Health and Human Services?
So she was in the care of her mother, Tabitha Alexander, and her twin sisters were born with severe medical problems, and Tabitha was not present for hospital staff to sign consents for surgeries needed. She wasn't there to learn about the proper care and treatment for the twins. And so all of Tabitha's children were eventually removed.
Okay, and they came under the jurisdiction of the court?
That's correct.
Now, so right now, does mom in this case, Tabitha Alexander, does she still have any parental rights?
She does not. She voluntarily released her rights on 10/1 of last year.
So in this case, I mean, wasn't the removal back in 2022 of all 4 of Tabitha Alexander's children?
That's correct.
Okay, and how did the name Tyler Pickering come up? I mean, why did we start thinking he was that?
That was information that we got from mom, Tabitha Alexander. She indicated that he was her father, but obviously he wasn't legal father at the time. And so in early 2023, the department made attempts to contact him. I did connect with him. We made attempts to schedule DNA testing for him. I had a few phone calls with him, but he never followed through.
Okay, so he was aware that we were trying to determine who the father of Lydia Alexander was.
Yes, he was.
Okay, did he participate in the DNA testing?
He did not.
Okay. And was that done through this court or was it a child support action?
Those attempts were done through this court. But he's also been, through another court seeking to determine if he was legal father. There was efforts being made to get him to complete DNA testing.
Okay, and at some point, and you are familiar with petitioner's admitted exhibit, letter A, the default judgment of affiliation.
I am.
And that is in regards to Tyler Pickering being the father. He was defaulted as the father of Lydia Alexander.
Yes.
Okay. So that gets us to where we are now. So back in 2023, you had contact with him, and we're now in 2025. It's a couple years later. I'd like you to talk about your efforts to engage him in services. Just tell us frankly, what that was like.
So I did not have any contact with Tyler for quite some time after initially trying to get him to come in and DNA test. I did have contact with him starting in October of last year. We spoke on the phone several times. I gave him an idea of what it would look like for him to start participating in a treatment plan, what the department's expectations were surrounding parenting time if he wished to start having contact with Lydia. At the time, I'm going to say for probably a month, we talked back and forth on the phone. He did express a desire, now that Lydia's mother's rights were terminated, to become involved, to start seeing Lydia. So, but he never followed through. You know, he had a way to contact me, and I let him, you know, I attempted to set up a in-person meeting with him, and he never followed through with that. And then shortly after that, I did not have any contact with Mr. Pickering at all.
Okay, and back in December of last year, 2024, we had a putative father hearing regarding Lydia Alexander, and the court made a decision that he was putative father.
Yes.
Okay, so have you had any contact with Tyler Pickering this year, 2025?
I don't recall the last date. The last time that I spoke to him on the phone was the day before the last hearing that he attended. I believe that was a putative father hearing. It was the last time that he attended.
Okay, so throughout this case from 2022, did he make any attempts to get involved prior to him becoming a putative father and then a default father later on in 2025?
No, he did not.
So has he provided any necessary support to Lydia?
He has not. I know for sure not during the foster care case. According to the mother, when she still had the children, when the case was still open for the children, he did not provide anything for Lydia or have contact with her previous to the foster care case.
Okay, has he ever provided any educational support for the child?
No, he has not.
Has he provided any other medical, going to the doctor, the dentist, things like that?
No, he has not.
Has he provided any other care that would be necessary for the children's or Lydia's health or morals?
No, he has not.
And again, this whole time, he's been aware of the department's interest to get him involved in this case.
Yes, he has.
Okay, and essentially, I mean, I don't know, how would you describe, I know he hasn't followed through, you know, with engaging in to become the dad and engaging in services. Would you say that he is thus far by his actions refused?
Yes.
Does your petition for the contrary to welfare indicates that Tyler has a criminal history and substance use, and you said that it was an unfit place for Lydia? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so in looking into this and writing this petition, we discovered that he had a DUI, and there was another misdemeanor. I believe it was resisting obstructing, and then another misdemeanor, driving on a suspended license. As far as the housing, on one of the occasions that I spoke to Mr. Pickering, he indicated that he was currently living in a trailer on someone's property. The housing wouldn't be suitable for Lydia, and he would have to find suitable housing should he become involved.
Okay, so at this time, the department would be able to gauge his fitness as it relates to what would be a need domain of substance use.
That's correct.
Judge, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Delaney?
Mr. Solis, we heard today from the court that a notice was also sent to the Wexford County Jail, which, as you know, is Cadillac area. The charges that are in your petition were Kalkaska, two in Kalkaska and one in Antrim County. Do you know anything about the Wexford County matter? Had you heard anything? Does he have contacts in Wexford? Any further information available to us?
Not to my knowledge, and no, I was unaware of that.
Okay. Do your notes indicate the last time you had contact with Tyler? And sub question, have you ever met with him, or is it just over the telephone?
It was just over the telephone. When we were speaking in the fall of last year, I attempted to set up a in-person meeting with him. He told me his work schedule was fairly full, and then there was no follow through with meeting face to face.
So would fall of 2024 be your last contact with Tyler Pickering?
Yeah, my last phone call with him was to remind him of the upcoming hearing. Again, I believe that was the putative father hearing. So it was about that time, yes.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Hansel?
Yes, just a couple. After it was determined that Mr. Pickering was the biological father, was child support ever ordered? I don't know if I heard you say that or not.
Yes, I believe that the friend of the court was pursuing determining if he was the biological father because there was child support.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, then that was never followed through with. He'd never paid child support, or do you know?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. And to reiterate, because I couldn't hear real well, did you state that he has never been one-on-one with Lydia? He's never been in her presence?
During the foster care case, no. Mom indicated that he was not involved with Lydia, but I can't speak to if he ever saw her. But during the foster care case, I believe Mom facilitated a FaceTime on one occasion during one of her parenting times. But that was it. There's been no contact with Lydia other than that.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing more.
All right, I'm going to ask, just because I believe I should, I'm going to ask my staff to call the Wexford County Jail just to see if he's there, because we did a writ. I just want to make sure that he's not there. If he is, we'll redo what we need to do if he has any questions or anything. So could you make a phone call for me, please, and see if he's there? Probably should have done this a little bit earlier. But
Hi, my name is Kylie Okram. I'm calling from the Otsego District Court. I was just curious if you could let me know if there's an inmate house with you guys. Tyler Pickering.
Mr. Pickering has now joined us. He's had an opportunity during the break to speak with his attorney, Mr. Delaney. Mr. Delaney, how do you wish to proceed today?
Just some background information for the court. Tyler Pickering turned himself in to the Kalkaska County Jail for an OWI. And unbeknownst to me, Kalkaska no longer has a jail. So they did secure him, and so they're using Wexford, which is why he's in Cadillac. He has been sentenced on that OWI and received a sentence of 6 months. His release date will be January 21st of 2026. So he's going to be there for 6 months. I then explained to Tyler what today's hearing is. He's not losing his parental rights today. The court could take jurisdiction of the child and then provide services. And then if he doesn't succeed at those services, the court could terminate at a later date or could return the child if he does succeed. But today is jurisdiction only, which is oversight of the child. I then explained to Tyler that he could tell the court if he chose that he hasn't had contact in a year or provided support, then the court would take jurisdiction. Or he could let this witness testify and then have a trial right now. He indicated to me that he would give the court the jurisdiction. He would make those statements. And I just want to make sure that, is there anything else other than support?
Well, I mean, what allegations in the petition would he be needing to or not, or explaining?
You could just ask him those questions.
Well,
So I think, Tyler, is that what your intention is right now, is to give the court the jurisdiction and make statements to the court?
Yes.
Okay, you may be asked questions by the attorney for the state, the Department of Human Services, and there's also an attorney present for the child. The child gets an attorney too, even though she's only 4. And they may ask you questions. Is that still how you want to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a couple things here. There was a default judgment of affiliation. I don't know if Mr. Pickering understands what that means and how that made him father by operation of law. I could just present the proofs again, and, it would be another 15 minutes. That would be a better record than, I think, just saying that he hasn't had, support or contact the last year. There's a lot more there. And
Well, let's do this. I'm gonna attempt to take a plea under 3.971 of the court rules. And if you have any additional questions that you want to ask after I get done doing that, we can do that. You've made a record prior to Mr. Pickering being present, but I don't want to use that for purposes of prosecution without his presence. So,
just go through the petition and ask him,
Yep.
does he agree or not agree?
Yep.
Then I would be, pleased
happy
with
to
that,
do that.
Judge. Thank you.
all right, Mr. Pickering, my name is Judge Hesselink. I was the one who spoke to you just briefly before you spoke to your attorney, but I wasn't wearing my robe at the time. Just to kind of catch you up, we started the proceedings today noting that you were not present. Your attorney made a record indicating he didn't know where you were. The Department of Health and Human Services didn't know where you were. We had sent a writ to Wexford County and didn't hear anything on that, so we assumed that that was not, and I'm not pointing fingers or saying anybody was wrong, I'm just saying we didn't get anything back from it, so we didn't know that you were there. Once the hearing started, we had a witness on the witness stand from the Department of Health and Human Services who began to give their information about the case. I decided at that point to try one more thing, which was to call the Wexford County Jail and see if you were there, and here you are. So that kind
appreciate
of
it,
catches
Your
you
Honor.
up a little bit. What we have before us today is a trial. It is the allegation from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services that you would come before the court as a father who has not provided 2 separate things. One is being a person legally responsible for the care and maintenance of the juvenile. That would be your daughter. When able to do so, provide or fail to or refuse to or neglected to provide proper or necessary support, education, medical, surgical, or other care necessary, or who is without proper custody, or who is without proper custody or guardianship. And then the second one is that the home environment, by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, or depravity on the part of a parent, is an unfit place for the juvenile to live. Those are the 2 legal bases under which they're asking the court to take jurisdiction or to take control of the case. They've made some allegations in their petition. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what your rights are, make sure that you understand those first, and then I'm going to ask you some questions designed to see if what you say meets those 2 legal reasons for the court to take jurisdiction. If you don't understand anything that I say at any point in time, please let me know, and I'll be happy to try to rephrase it in a way that helps you understand. All right, sir?
Yes, thank you.
All right. The rights that you have right now include the right to your attorney, and you could have Mr. Delaney continue to represent you throughout these proceedings. If you enter a plea today, you would not be having a trial. However, anything that you say today could be used in later court proceedings as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could we place him under oath?
Yep, yep. Mr. Pickering, I'm going to put you under oath. You'd raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so I've read to you the legal basis for the allegations in the petition, and I'll read some of those other allegations in just a minute. I've told you that you have a right to an attorney. You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. You have the right to have the burden of proof beyond the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to prove the allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to have witnesses against you appear and testify under oath. you have the right to cross-examine those witnesses, and you have the right to have the court subpoena any witnesses that you wish for your defense as well. Those are all of the rights that you would have. However, if you enter a plea today, you'd be giving up all of those rights. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. One of the consequences of the plea, if you enter a plea, is that same information could be used in later court proceedings up to and including if there were a termination of parental rights hearing. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions about any of that?
I don't think so, no.
All right. The court is going to ask you some questions in just a minute, but I want to make sure that nobody has promised you anything or threatened you in any way before we do that. Have you received any other promises of what's going to happen other than what you talked about with your lawyer?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Have you had an adequate opportunity to fully discuss this matter with your lawyer?
Yes.
All right. Has anybody threatened you in any way to get you to enter a plea today?
No.
Are you doing this of your own free choice and free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The petition, that is the allegations in the paperwork that's been submitted by the DHHS say some things about you and some things about the mother. So I'm going to try to focus on you a little bit, but I want to make sure that you understand. So it starts off talking that the mother of Lydia is Tabitha Alexander. Do you agree to that?
Yes.
All right. In the past, you have not agreed that you are the father. However, you've been found to be the father of Lydia Alexander. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And do you disagree with that in any way?
There was a time, so it could be very possible. So I'm taking
All right.
full
But you
responsibility.
understand that both this court and the circuit court have found that for various legal reasons, you are the father of Lydia Alexander. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you've been made aware through the Department of Health and Human Services, specifically Mr. Joaquin Solis, that there's been an ongoing court case involving Lydia in the past. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And is it also true that after you had knowledge that court case was open, that you've not engaged in any services provided or talked about by the Department of Health and Human Services?
I've talked to them a couple times, and I've also came to Zoom meetings in the past as well in the last 6 months.
All right, but you've not actually engaged in any of the actual services that they've tried to offer to you. Is that correct?
Yes. I haven't had a license, and that's why I'm trying to get this all situated so I can actually move forward to trying to be there for her and my other two kids as well.
All right, and you've also been notified in the past by the mother that there were ongoing court case and asking you to be involved with your daughter Lydia as well. Is that correct?
She has not gotten a hold of me. There has been a couple of times she's gotten a hold of my girlfriend, which is not getting a hold of me.
All right. Let me ask you specifically then, there's an allegation that on or about May the 16th of 2024, during parenting time between Lydia and Tabitha, which was supervised by another individual, that Tabitha contacted you by phone and during the phone call asked you to say hi to Lydia.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So you've known that you've had a daughter or someone that the mother was claiming was the father, or you were the father of Lydia. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And in the past, you've also had contact with the Otsego County Prosecutor's Office involving DNA analysis of whether or not you were the father for Lydia. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I could not get a ride to that.
All right. So, but you knew that they were trying to get that accomplished, and you did not participate in that again
Yes,
because
I
you
failed to
couldn't get a
do
ride.
that.
All right. All right. And then you were aware that there was a hearing held in front of Judge Mertz in Otsego County Circuit Court, and ultimately you were determined by what's called a judgment of filiation to be the legal father of Lydia. Is that correct to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
All right. Some of the other allegations in the petition is that you have a history of substance abuse and other criminal acts. They allege that on December 19th of 2023, you pled guilty to operating while intoxicated in Kalkaska County. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also on May the 13th of 2024, you pled guilty to attempted resisting and obstructing police officers in Kalkaska County. Is that also correct?
Yes, sir.
And then on or about June 25th of 2024, you had a driving with license suspended case in Antrim County. Is that also correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is it also true that you have not initiated contact with Lydia since approximately July of 2022?
I've asked the DHS people to how I get a hold of her, and I have not heard back from them.
All right. Have you had any face-to-face contact with Lydia since 2022?
No, sir.
Have you provided any child support for her?
No, Your Honor.
Have you provided any medical care for her?
No.
Have you provided any guidance or direction as a parent?
No, not of now.
Have you provided any educational support?
No.
Have you provided any emotional support?
No.
All right. Mr. Sommerfeld, any other questions that you have?
No, Judge, but there are some more advice of rights that I would like the court to go over before we perfect the plea. It was number one, the reading of the allegations to see if he would waive that. And then there's 5, 6, 7, and 8 under 3.971 under B.
I believe I did read the legal allegations in the petition at the beginning.
Well, he has a right to have the whole petition read to him.
All right.
And I can ask if he'll want to waive that.
All right. I can do that.
David Delaney on behalf of my Lynn Sherwood Dragoo, and she is seated to my left.
All right. We are here for a scheduled review hearing. I understand that there has been some information that Ms. Sherwood Dragoo may be considering release of her parental rights. Mr. Delaney, how does your client wish to proceed today?
That is correct, Judge, and I've been counsel for her since 2023. We are now here in person in court. We took a break. We went to the back room, just she and I. I went through what it is she wanted to do. And the court's going to cover these questions anyway, that there's no duress. She's thought about it. The one child is 19, is not before the court, but the 16-year-old is, and she has frequent contact with them. But as to the 16-year-old, Chauncey Lynn, it is her intention to release her parental rights and to foresee an adoption. And I also showed her the forms and what she would be signing. And I believe she's prepared to go forward of her own free will.
Is that what you would like to do today, ma'am?
Yes, release my rights so Joni and Kyle can adopt Chauncey.
All right. I can't make any guarantees as to what's going to happen with the adoption. I believe that what you said is what is intended. And I believe that that's what everybody probably wants in this particular case, but I can't have you believe that that is absolutely what is going to occur. The most that we can do today is go through your rights with you, ask you whether or not you voluntarily and willingly release your parental rights. And then whatever happens after that in the adoption process is whatever happens in the adoption process. Do you understand that?
She'll still be with Kyle and Joni.
Nothing, as far as I know, nobody's intending to change any of that.
Okay.
But I want you to know that there's no guarantee moving forward after today. I can't have you believe that that's going to be true. Even it may be, and it highly likely may be, but I just can't say that there's a guarantee that that's the way it's going to work out. Do you understand all that?
If I may, Judge, not knowing the process, she thought that she would release today and the child would be adopted today. But and I explained there's a
Thank you.
bureaucratic procedure in there. That's why she's kind of hesitating with you, but.
And I understand that.
Right.
I understand that, but I just wanted her to be aware of that. And so as long as she knows that, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of time to go over, just like Mr. Delaney did with you, to make sure that you understand these forms and make sure that I know that you, and I'm sure that Mr. Delaney did a great job because he always has done that in the past with other people. But I want to make sure that you understand these forms. And there's a couple of things that I want to ask you that he may not have asked you about. So let me just begin that process. right now, the idea is that you're going to give up your, what are called your parental rights. I'm sorry.
Judge, if I may, can you place Mylan, the mom, under oath, please?
Certainly I can. Thank you for that assessment. Would you raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. What we're going to do is go through a process called a release of parental rights. So I want you to understand what your parental rights are first, okay? So this is not an exhaustive list, but it's a list of some of the things that involve parental rights. As a parent, you have the right to seek care and custody of your child. You have the right to have parenting time with your child. You have the right to inherit from the child or to have the child inherit from you. You have the right to the services and any earnings of the child. You have the right to determine the child's schooling, religious training, parenting practices, medical, dental, all of that kind of stuff. As a parent, you have the right to do. You have the right to, when the child is still a minor, you have the right to consent to marriage or medical procedures or mental health procedures. All of those things are your rights as a parent. The right to discipline and give guidance to your child, the right to a relationship, to love and affection and emotional ties with the child. You also have some duties, the duty to provide home, food, clothing, medical care, material needs, all of those kinds of things. If you were to release your parental rights, those would be a list of some of the things that you would be giving up. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about the rights or the responsibilities as a parent that you would be giving up or releasing today?
No.
All right. What we're going to do next is go over the forms that we've just talked about. So I'm going to have Mr. Delaney have those in front of you while I talk to you about them. The first one is called Release of Child by Parent at the top. You can see that it has your name up near the top and that you are the mother of Chauncey Lynn. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And is the date of birth for Chauncey Lynn correct there?
Is it right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Under number 1. All right. Then in paragraph number 2, if you read along while I read it to you, it says that I, as the judge, have fully explained your legal rights as a parent, and that's what we just talked about. And that I do not have to sign this release of my parental rights. So one of the rights that you have right now that you would be giving up is that you have the right to not sign these documents. And only you can voluntarily decide to sign these documents. Nobody can make you do that. You understand that? All right. Do you also understand all of your parental rights, and that if you do sign this release, that you are voluntarily and permanently giving up your parental rights to your child? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to be getting these back at any time in the future, right? Okay. You have the right to have a rehearing or to request a rehearing after today's hearing if you do so within the next 21 days. That is, you can say, hey, Judge, I think you may have forgotten to tell me something, or I want to reconsider what my decision was. Or you could appeal and say, Judge, I think you made some legal error in that process, and I want to have that checked out. Okay, so you have 21 days after today to ask for a rehearing or to ask for an appeal. That doesn't mean that you need to or that you have to, but you have the right to. Do you understand that? Okay. And it's okay to be emotional today. All right. So you don't have to, if you are, we have some Kleenex up here someplace. So if you need, we have some right here.
Oh, we do. Okay.
So if you need some, you let me know. Okay. All right. Has anybody promised you anything today to get you to make this decision? Has anybody threatened you in any way to get you to make this decision? Are you doing this of your own free choice and free will?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that what you're doing is in the best interest of Chauncey Lynn?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then paragraph number 5 says, of my own free will, I give up completely and permanently my parental rights to my child, and I release my child, and it says to where it's going to go, to the Michigan Children's Institute for Adoption, right? To the Department of Health and Human Services. Is that all true?
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to have you do is I want you to take a pen and sign where it says parent signature under paragraph 5 there on the right-hand side of the page. And is your name printed underneath there already?
Mhm.
All right, is it spelled correctly?
Yes.
And then over to the left, there's a place for you to date that. If you date that 9/23, unless it's already done for you.
Okay. So you can
Right
put
here.
on top of the line, you can put either use the numbers or you could spell out September 23 of 2025, however you want to do that.
All right, and that's all for that form. So I think there's probably a second page to that, but that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's what things that I get to sign. Thank you. The next form is called a statement to accompany release. And again, it has Chauncey Lynn's name up at the top and her date of birth. Is all that spelled correctly and the date of birth is correct?
Yeah.
All right, paragraph 1 says that I am the parent and I intend to sign a release of the child for purposes of adoption. So you understand that, right?
Yeah.
Paragraph number 2 says that you've received a list of adoption support groups. Have you had that or do you want to have that?
No, it's
All right,
okay.
we can make that available to you if you'd like that, but that's up to you.
Okay.
All right. Paragraph 4 says, I have received counseling related to this adoption, or I waive counseling related to this adoption. Would you like to have some counseling, or do you think that that's not necessary for you?
No, it's not.
Okay,
necessary.
you can check the box and it says I waive counseling.
Okay.
Paragraph 5, and some of this is repetitious, I know that, but it's the forms that the state wants us to use, so we're going to do that. So paragraph 5 says, I have not received or been promised any money or anything of value for this. Is that true?
Right.
Okay. And paragraph number 6 says that my release is not affected by any, that uses the words collateral or separate agreement or there's no other agreement that you've got out there with somebody else. Is that true?
Right.
Right. Nobody has tried to make a side deal with you to get you to do this. Okay. You've not made a deal with the potential adoptive parents. Is that true? You've not made a deal between any agency to try to make this adoption go through. Is that correct? All right. Paragraph 7 says that the welfare of the adoptee, that would be Chauncey Lynn, is served if you keep the child placing agencies or the Department of Health and Human Services of it informed of any health problems. So what they're saying there is if you have any health problems that may be genetic or that may run in your family, it might be good for Chauncey Lynn to be able to know about that.
Right.
So you have the right, if you want to let that information be known to the Department of Health and Human Services, and they can give that to Chauncey Lynn in the future.
Okay.
All right. Paragraph 8 says that the welfare of the adoptee, and again, that's Chauncey Lynn, is served if I keep my address or current with the child placing agency or the Department of Health and Human Services to permit a response to any inquiry concerning medical or social history. Again, if Chauncey Lynn has a question in the future, hey, do we have this that runs in our family, or do what was I like back when I was 4 or 3 or 2, and she needs to know that for some reason, she can go through the Department of Health and Human Services and they can contact you. So again, if you want to, you're not required to, but if you want to, you can keep in contact with the Department of Health and Human Services, and that information can flow between you and Chauncey Lynn in the future if you'd like that.
Okay.
Okay, that just tells you what your rights are. So if you agree to all of that, we're going to have you sign that page just in that same way you did the other page.
Yeah.
9/23 of 25 or September 23rd.
Right.
Yeah, you're all set there.
Okay, everything's good there. All right. Next form that we have, and I don't think you need to do anything in it, but I want you to be aware of it. It's called an order terminating parental rights. Basically, it's the same heading at the top, Chauncey Lynn's name and her date of birth, all those correct?
Yes.
Should have today's date for the date of hearing, and it should say Judge Kevin Hesselink, that's my name. Paragraph number 2 says a release has been executed by you, your name in that. See that all that's accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's then at the bottom, it says it is ordered, and then paragraph 5 says the rights of the parent, it should have your name in it, are terminated. That's the order that says that you no longer have your parental rights. You understand all of that? Is that what you're asking me to do today?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
All right, I saw you shaking your head up and down, but it's helpful to be on the record for that. So give that to Mr. Delaney. He will bring that up to me in just a minute, and I will sign that. The next form is similar. It says it's the order committing a child to the agency or the Department of Health and Human Services. And again, it has Chauncey Lynn's name up at the top, her date of birth, the date of the hearing, and my name on it. And basically, it says that the rights of a parent have been, your rights as a parent have been terminated. And this is my order that Chauncey Lynn now be sent, her care be taken to the department or the Department of Health and Human Services for the purposes of adoption. Okay, so the last one said you're no longer the parent. The department is now going to take care of her and make sure that she's placed correctly for the purposes of moving through towards the adoption. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And is that what you're asking me to do today?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you do not need to sign that. That'll be for me, but I wanted you to be aware of what the documents are. Okay. The last 2 pages, one I'm going to keep and one you're going to keep, are both exactly the same. Okay, so the reason that there's 2 is because I want you to keep one and know what they are. This is called an advice of rights form. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading and I want you to follow along. These are your rights that you have after you give up or waive your parental rights. You still have those rights. And we've talked about some of them, including the right to appeal. This is going to talk about that in a little more detail. Okay, so under paragraph 2, it says you have the right to, and then subparagraph A says request a rehearing in the circuit court on the termination of your parental rights. If you do that in writing within 21 days of the date of the order terminating your parental rights. So if you believe that you want to change your mind, that's what a rehearing would be about. You can ask in writing for the circuit court to do that. This is the family court. Now, the circuit court's the one downtown. Okay, so you can ask them if you want a rehearing, that is, have another judge listen to it and say whether or not everything was done correctly. You need to do that within 21 days. So do you understand all of that?
Yeah.
Subparagraph B says if you don't want to have a rehearing, but you want to appeal, you have the right to do that. If you think that there was some legal error or that the procedures were not done correctly, you can appeal to the Court of Appeals. And that's actually in Lansing where you would file that, or you'd ask the Department of Health and Human Services to assist you with filing that. And that also must be done within 21 days of today's date. Okay, so you can ask for a rehearing at the circuit court, or you can ask for an appeal to the Court of Appeals. Both have to be done within 21 days of today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Paragraph 3 says something that sounds a little weird, but it is what the law is. Paragraph 3 says that your obligation to support the child continues until the court terminates that obligation, an order of adoption is entered, or the child is emancipated. So typically what happens is, while your parental rights are terminated, your duty to provide child support continues until the adoption is finalized. Okay, so we're going to do that as quickly as we can, but I just wanted you to be aware that that's what the law requires. It's not something I'm just making up as I do this as a judge. That's what the law says. Okay, all right. Paragraph 4 says that in addition to those rights that I just read to you, you also have some, you may do certain things, and we talked about these already. But I want to make sure that you understand it. You can file with the Central Adoption Registry of the Department of Health and Human Services a form called the Parent's Consent or Denial to the Release of Information to an Adult Adoptee. And what that means is, once Chauncey Lynn becomes an adult, you can have on record a form with the Department of Health and Human Services that says, I want to have contact with her, or I don't. So if she has questions about her medical history, like we talked about, or she has questions about her social history, what was the family like, you can either say, I want to have contact with her about those things, or I don't want to have contact with her about those things. Those are entirely up to you. The department believes it would be good for her to have that information, but that's up to you to decide. Okay. The next one, subparagraph B, says that you may keep your name and address current with the Central Adoption Registry if you want, again, if you want Chauncey Lynn, once she becomes an adult, to be able to find you. So if you want that information at the Central Adoption Registry, which is where Chauncey Lynn would ask for it, then you can put it there. If you don't want it to be there, then you don't have to put it there. Does that make sense? All right. Do you have any questions about any of this?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Delaney, if I can have that documentation, please.
Yes. I will just indicate for the record, I have the release of child by parent signed by Mylin Sherwood DeGroot. Also, the statement to accompany release signed by Mylin Sherwood DeGroot. I would just note on that form that it looks like she maybe started to date it 9/28 and then fixed it. So the 8 and 3 is not really perfect there, but she's obviously in open court. It's being recorded audio visually, and we have that. And then the court's orders and the other documents we discussed. And if I can approach.
Thank you, please.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am, I am at this point going to say to you, this will be the last time I'll say it to you. Do you wish for me to sign these documents?
Yes.
All right. I do find that you understood what we've talked about. I do find that you're making a decision which is willful and voluntary and intelligent. And I believe that you are putting your child's best interests in front of your own, and I appreciate that about what you're doing. So thank you. All right, I have signed the second page of the release of child by parent, indicating certification by the judge or the referee that I've read to her all of the proper language in these documents. And then I've accepted the statement to accompany release signed by Ms. Sherwood DeGroot, dated today's date. I also signed the order terminating parental rights and the order committing the child to the agency, Department of Health and Human Services, and I've received a copy of the advice of rights form, and you have kept that one copy of the advice of rights form. All right, ma'am, thank you very much for your assistance today. I know this is a difficult day for you. You have our condolences as to that, but again, I do find that you've done so willingly, knowingly, and intelligently, and that this is in the best interest of Chauncey Lynn based on her current circumstances. So thank you for that. You are welcome. We have just a little bit of business as to the review hearing to do. You're welcome to stay for that if you want, or you're welcome to leave, whichever is your preference right now, ma'am.
I was going to recommend to Mylin that she speak to the department about how long that adoption process might take, because I think she wants to participate in it because it brings closure for her. So I can't answer those questions, but they may be able to, and what that process is like.
So if you wanted to stay and not talk to them afterwards, I'm fine. That would be totally appropriate. And I'm sure they're shaking their heads and they'd be happy to do that with you. So, Mr. Sommerfeld, I have received some documentation from you as far as the review hearing. Let me put those on the record. We can do an abbreviated hearing as to the
Is she
review.
free to go now, Judge?
She is.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's fine if you want.
Yep, she's free to go.
All right.
All right. So as to the review portion of this, I have received the dispositional review hearing report for today's hearing. I have received the health clinic appointments from May through June of 25, letter reports from Faith Marshall to the Bowen Center dated July 28, the Bowen Health Medical Records for Mylin, DHHS safety plan dated 4/24, and the safety plan for Chauncey Lynn dated 7/22, dispositional review reports dated 9/16 of 25, case service plan dated 8/15, and a parent agency treatment plan dated 8/15 of 25. Any other documentation that I should have, Mr. Sommerfeld?
Judge, I had 2 parent agency treatment plans. Did you, or, no, I have 3. Or one for Justin, one for Chauncey Lynn, and one for Mom.
Yes, I do have all of those. I think I apologize if I didn't delineate, but I do have all 3 of those parent agency treatment plans.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
All right. Any objection to those documents being considered by the court?
No objection.
All right, I have read those. Those will be considered. Mr. Sommerfeld, do you have a witness that you wish to let me hear from?
Yes, Faith Losi is seated at council table on the right side. It would be on the left side of the court there. I would like to call her, please.
Ms. Losi, would you raise your right hand? I'll have you take it just right there. Do you testify, excuse me, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Mr. Sommerfeld, I'm sorry, ma'am, would you state your full name for the record, please?
It's Faith Losi. Losi is Losey.
All right, Mr. Sommerfeld, go ahead and ask your questions.
All right, Miss Losi, how are you employed?
I'm a foster care worker through the Department of Health and Human Services.
And you're familiar with Chauncey Lynn Turner and Justin Turner?
Yes, I am their foster care worker.
Okay, and I know your court report accounted for the possibility of a voluntary release, but we are going to be asking the court to change the goal for Chauncey Lynn to adoption.
Okay.
Did you
Yes.
respond? Okay. And we don't have to be really specific here, but can you tell us how Chauncey Lynn is doing in her foster placement? I mean, it's always been reported as pretty much ideal. Is that still the case?
Yes, Chauncey's doing great in her current placement with the Palmers. They take care of her in the greatest capacity.
Okay, and they have expressed an interest. I know your court report says that they will provide Chauncey with permanency in any way, but are they willing to adopt her?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and again, is there, I know we will be starting the adoption process here, but can you just give us a quick update on Chauncey Lynn?
Yeah, Chauncey is attending her therapy council or her therapy sessions once per week still with Bridget through Thunder Bay Community at the school. They are currently going through some of her trauma history. She's making a lot of progress and she's learning a lot about how to handle all of her trauma. She just began participating on the school archery team. I believe it was this week. They have a tournament coming up in February that she seems to be excited about. She went to homecoming last weekend. She's doing great physically and mentally. She no longer has to attend physical therapy for her knee because of the progress she made. So we're happy about that. But overall, she's doing very well.
Okay, and Justin, you're asking to continue the goal of APLA since he's more than 18 years old?
That is correct.
And can you give us a quick update on him and his current placement?
Yes. Justin is currently placed with the House. We expect that to change relatively soon. We're currently looking for independent living program placements for him right now. We did apply to one in Traverse City, but that was denied. So we have a couple more that we'd like to apply to see if they will accept him. He is not attending school at this time. He did apply to Ferris for the optometry department, but he decided that he was physically and mentally not capable to do that right now and decided that it would be best to wait. He is working full-time at Dollar General at the time right now, about 40 hours a week, and he seems to really like that. Justin also attends counseling once per week virtually through the Lansing AIDS Area Network with Jennifer. That began June 3rd, I believe, and that seems to be going very well.
Okay, and just one last question about Chauncey Lynn. She's always wanted to be adopted by her current placement. Is it the Palmers?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then, so was she aware of this hearing today?
She was aware.
Okay, and so is she pretty excited?
Yes, this is what she has been wanting for quite some time.
Okay, and is there anything else you'd like to offer to the court today?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Sommerfeld. Ms. Hansel, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do not, thank you.
All right. I have no other questions. Any other witnesses or evidence that you wish to adduce, Mr. Sommerfeld?
No, thank you.
Ms. Hansel, any witnesses or evidence that you wish to adduce?
No, sir.
All right, closing statements, Mr. Sommerfeld?
To Judge, with the release of rights, I concur with the court. I believe it is in the child's best interest. Since the removal, mom historically was really not around. Chauncey Lynn and Justin were living with their dad. Their dad gave up their rights, his rights. And mom lived in another state. That was a barrier. There just really wasn't the interaction there. And Chauncey Lynn has really flourished in her placement with the Palmers. And this is going to be a good outcome that the court can order to set us out on that direction and to continue the goal of APLA for Justin.
All right. Ms. Hansel, is there anything that you want to bring to my attention?
No, I would just like to commend the mother. I think this is a wise thing to do and certainly in Chauncey Lynn's best interest. And I believe that Chauncey Lynn has a bright future. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I will change the direction of the case from reunification to adoption based on the actions of the mother here today. Again, thank her for her putting Chauncey Lynn's best interest first. We will continue Justin and Chauncey within the jurisdiction of the court and referral to MDHHS for care, custody, and supervision. We'll continue their current placements until, unless they become necessary to change them. An example would be Justin and his needs this time. That's fine if you need to change that. The goal for Justin will continue to be APLA, and we'll move that to adoption for Chauncey Lynn. And then there was a recommendation for sibling visitation to be suspended temporarily while we sort out the relationship between Chauncey and Justin. We will continue that as well. And I would ask that the DHHS continue to watch to see whether or not additional counseling or other services need to be given to either of the children so that they can in the future hopefully have a good relationship between each other. So, but need to do so safely now. So anything else that we need to do today on this case, Mr. Sommerfeld?
No, thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hansel?
No, sir.
All right, that'll be the order of the court. Thank you all very much. Again, ma'am, thank you very much for your. This is a matter of McKenna Vanier. And see, Mr. Solis is with us. I have received a copy of the post-termination review hearing report from the Department of Health and Human Services, signed by Mr. Solis on September the 15th.
I'm going to keep this short. This case is moving to an adoption, and there are no barriers to that adoption between McKenna and the proposed her grandmother who wants to adopt her.
That's correct. So the department has referred her to Child and Family Services. Melissa Sorensen is the adoption worker. We provided them with everything that's necessary. I've had extensive communication with Ms. Sorensen, as well as Donna, the grandmother, and McKenna, who both state that they're ready for this adoption to happen and for this case to be closed. Ms. Sorensen is not here today, but her report states that hopefully on or before February of next year, this will be completed. So things are going well, and everybody's moving this forward as quickly as we can.
Okay, and then the grandmother, Donna, she wants to adopt, and McKenna wants to be adopted by her grandmother.
Yes.
Okay. So are you recommending to the court to continue the goal of adoption?
Yes, we are.
And are you asking, is there something you might ask the court for, maybe something that would help you out or help out the adoption worker at this time?
Not at this time. Nothing's been identified as a barrier, and things are moving smoothly. The adoption worker is confident that this is going to go as quickly as possible. And like I said, hopefully by the beginning of next year, we'll be able to finalize this and close this case.
All right, thank you. I have nothing further.
Ms. Hansel, any questions?
I have no questions.
All right. I have no questions of Mr. Solis. Mr. Sommerfeld, is there any closing statements that you wish to make?
No, Judge, we're in a posture of post-termination review with the goal of adoption. McKenna's always stayed with her grandmother. She wants to be there. The grandmother wants to, have McKenna there. I mean, usually you don't see in an adoption report, this early that there are no identified barriers, and it's like, so it's kind of unusual. That's why I'm bringing it out. But I'd ask the court to continue the goal of adoption. Sounds like everything is going well, and pretty soon McKenna will be in a permanent relationship until she becomes an adult.
Sounds good. Ms. Hansel, anything else do you want me to be aware of?
No, happy ending, Your Honor. I'm supportive of it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Solis. I appreciate the good news. I will adopt the recommendation. McKenna will remain a permanent court ward with the commitment to the MCI for placement, care, and supervision, and the permanency goal will remain adoption. I will request that efforts be continued to establish permanency for McKenna through the adoption process. Looking forward to good results from this case. Thank you all. All right, with that, court will be in recess. Have a good day, everyone.